We're just playing. How are you guys doing? Hi, Richmond.
Look at that Red Ranger over there.
I know. I love
They
it.
come prepared. Love it.
You guys are awesome.
All right, so before we throw it to the audience, I would like to ask, because you're all from different seasons, of course, do you keep in touch with any of the other folks from your seasons?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, the Comic-Con world has brought us all together. Like, we literally hang out a lot. Yeah. We see each other at cons, and the cool thing is we get to see people from other seasons as well. We all kind of...
Yeah, like for me, like I was a kid watching it and then became a Ranger when I was 17. They waited till I turned 18. And then, like 10 years later, I started doing Comic-Cons, and I'm getting to meet all the original cast that I grew up watching too, which is cool, and now we're all friends, so it's pretty cool.
It's very cool.
I just started doing these cons, so I'm still kind of... I'm
Welcome to the dark
amazed
side.
by these guys, amazed by you guys, so I'm still warming up. But yeah, now she arranges these little get-togethers back in Los Angeles.
We actually do that too,
Yeah, just
we
started
do
doing
like
that.
once a month. We all go and like do stuff,
Bowling
and we try
or-
to like tell everybody.
Oh, really? That's funny
Yeah.
because
You
I don't
don't
get
live
invited.
I thought you lived
I'm just
in
kidding.
Virginia.
I know I live in Virginia. No, I'm just teasing. I live in
Well,
Virginia.
you'll be in the next text
Okay,
chain,
all right,
so
all right.
trust me.
I'll
But
Skype
yeah.
in next time. I'll be like,
Yes.
hey guys.
It's totally funny. We go bowling, we go shoot pool. It's just I saw like we would hang out at Comic-Cons, but then we never hung out in LA. And like literally, some of us live like blocks away from each other. And I'm like, why do we do that? We never just like hang out. And so now we do these little Ranger only kind of, events. And we say only you and your significant other, just us. So then we can talk about all the stuff we can't talk about in front
It's
of
like
you
a
guys.
secret society,
It's a
We're
secret
like the
society.
Ranger Illuminati. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's really awesome. I actually sleep at Jason Font's house when I go there now, so I get to see my brother all the time. And then Erin has invited me to Nashville because her and Paul actually live half the time there. So I'm excited to go see them at their new house. But the Time Force, we've all kept in touch too. So we're like brothers and sisters still. Like we're on like a text. We do like cheesy text chain stuff. So we send each other gifts and pictures all the time.
So yeah, that's Rangers and the villains. We all get along.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Awesome, thanks, guys. One other thing quickly before, because I'm sure that y'all have a lot of questions for them. So, the other thing that I think a lot of people would be interested in is, so like you mentioned, you all came in not at the original cast. Of course, you're not in Japan, so it wasn't the original cast anyway, but even the original American cast. So what was it like joining a franchise that was already so popular, coming into the middle of it? Was that intimidating at all?
Yeah, you know what, it was, I think when we first got on, we were so excited. Obviously we heard about it. At that time, it was already the #1 show in the world. It was so huge, and I was just super excited. It was a little intimidating thinking, oh wow, I'm gonna become, the Yellow Ranger, and we knew that the original Yellow and Red and Black were super popular, but I think the excitement just kind of kicked in, like to know that, we were all actors first, and to know that we had an opportunity to be like series regulars on a TV show, and we were gonna do a movie. It was just all these wonderful possibilities. So that kind of kicked in and took over. But yeah, I was like, me and Johnny used to always have talks, and we're like, I hope they like us. And I remember one of the producers saying, we auditioned thousands of people, and we liked you for who you are, so do you. Don't try to be them, don't try to be, and we wouldn't even watch the older episodes. They said, do it the way that you would do it. And we were teenagers, and we had attitude, so it worked out.
I'll speak on my behalf. Like, I got some people from Deep Creek in the house. Say what's up, you from Deep Creek? Hey. It's my hometown. Y'all know about that. I'm from a small town called Deep Creek, and so I moved to Los Angeles, and I used to draw. Like, if you come to my table, I drew a picture of me fighting Iron Man. So I've been drawing for years. I drew a picture when I was 12. It was like 11 or 12 of the Power Rangers. Mighty Morphin for my brother for his birthday present. And then I moved to LA. My very first audition was for Power Rangers. And so for me, getting on the show was like really kind of crazy, and like, wait a second, like this is a show. Yeah, it's kind of like a full circle, because I was like actually a fan of the show. Like, I'm a fan of Marvel stuff now. That's like if I were to get on Avengers, Marvel, let me know. So if I were to get on Avengers or something in the Marvel universe now, that'd be awesome, or DC. So I was so excited to the point that even Austin and JDF came to the set And I like ran off set, and Koichi and the directors got mad because I heard they were there, and I was like, I'm never gonna probably meet them. And I went and took a picture with them, and like a fan. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm meeting you. And he's like, yeah, cool, man. And then he's like, you're one of the Rangers? I'm like, yeah, I'm like the blue guy now. But so it was pretty cool. I don't get to talk much on the show. If you know Lucas, he barely smiles. And you notice I'm like kind of different in person. I talk a little too much. But yeah, it was still fun.
Well, for me, I auditioned for the show a few times before I got the part. And when I read for actually just the regular Red Ranger role. But they had me read this Psycho Ranger. I didn't know what the heck it was, but he said, "Oh, it's evil. It's an evil character," and I just like let loose, and I booked it. So it was kind of interesting to be a villain in the show. And then when we did some parts, we were actually morphed into humans, and then we did all the voiceover stuff because the stunt actors had on the suits and everything. And also, I was a fan, so walking into the studios, I would see like Andros or whatever just in the back room, and I'm like, oh, that's that dude. So I would do the voiceover, and I would see the Psycho Rangers like kicking butt, with the other Rangers. I could see just how the impact of what was going to happen in the show. So coming into it, it was kind of intimidating, but I think I kind of fell into it okay. Yeah.
You did good, man.
Yeah.
You guys think you did good? Give him a round of applause.
Yeah.
Still looks 30 years old. That's crazy.
It's
all
that
do, and it's not
juice
20.
from the juice bar. We were all drinking. We were juicing
like, "You're
before
right."
anybody knew, so that's why we got the fountain of Ranger youth.
So you mentioned briefly, Karen, the idea of your background. So I wonder if you could each tell us a little bit about your acting backgrounds before you got into this show.
Sure. I actually started as a kid. I started when I was like 12. I actually was in the music industry, and I was in a group called Crush, and I was signed to A&M Records, and we did that. We were on the Mo Money soundtrack. We did a bunch of stuff. It was like I kind of was signed for a long time. But in that group, I had an amazing opportunity. I had my first audition, which was for Sister Act 2. I didn't get the part, but I got the acting bug. And at that moment, I was like 15, and I was like, I am going to be an actress. I know I like this singing stuff, and we'll see what happens, but I'm definitely going to act. And so when I turned 18, I was in like senior in high school, that group kind of dissolved, and my thought was, I'm going to move to LA. I'm going to become an actress. I'm going to do this. And so I kind of started going to auditions in Dallas, and I was just doing my thing. And then my friend, who I'm still close friends with to this day, she said, you should go and audition for this TV show. And I went. I remember showing up, and there were like 1,000 people there. And I was like, what the heck is this? And everybody was like dressed in martial art gis and all this stuff. And I was like, I don't think I'm right for this. And she goes, no, you got to be a dancer, a gymnast, or martial artist. And so I was like, okay. And 4 days later, I became a Power Ranger. And I got to move to LA. And I was like, but my plan, my plan was to like sleep on someone's couch. I was going to do anything I had to do to get to LA, and Power Rangers got me there sooner.
Not just any Ranger. I didn't know that. Mighty Morphin.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I won the golden ticket.
I know.
Honestly, me, Johnny, and Steve, I remember when we were auditioning, they put us together in a group. And so we were like about to go in, and Steve was like, guys, this is our job. This is our job. Like, he was totally a Red Ranger in this moment. And he was like, it's our job to get, or it's our job to lose. Let's go in there and get it. And I was like, you are right. We went in there, and like we auditioned, and like I saw their audition, they saw mine, and we were just like amazed. Like, Johnny was flipping through the freaking air, and I mean, Steve was like precision. Like his karate was just amazing. And I did this whole dance routine. I was flipping on the floor. And we were just like, if they don't give us this part, I don't know what these other people are doing. But if they don't give it to us, they're crazy.
Like J-Lo at the Super Bowl.
Right. We went all out. It was hilarious. And you know who was in the audition with us? Dan Southworth.
Oh, really?
Dan was there, and it was like Dan and Johnny were going against each other.
Dang.
And Dan was like the nicest person, but it was like Dan's group and our group. We ended up getting the part, and Dan was like so happy for us, and he would like took us to dinner, like Dan would. And so when I found out that he was in Time Force, I was like, oh my God! I was so happy for him.
Dan was the Quantum Ranger in Time Force.
Yes.
For me, I played football my whole life, never acted. Like I said, I was drawing since I was a kid. But LA was like just one of those things that was just like, wow, it was so magical to me. I was 17 years old. We didn't have internet, so it was like literally like I felt like was golden roads, and when I got there, I was like, wow, there's a lot of homeless people. La Cienega ain't so pretty. But it was definitely a culture shock, but so cool for me. I left there, and I started modeling in March of 2000. So that's why I'm launching my YouTube channel at the end of this month. I'm doing a 20-minute documentary of my 20 years in the business, starting March of 2000 to March of this year. So March of 2000, I modeled for about 5 months. Come near September, October, my very first acting audition came in front of me, and it was for Power Rangers. I've never acted before. I literally, I literally went in and just like read the lines. Like I was just like, hey, how are you? How are you? And they were like, wait. You're supposed to like act the part. I was like, my agent said, come in and read. And they're like, oh yeah, we'll read it, but like it's acting. And I was like, huh? I didn't know. So like the casting assistant was like, this is how you kind of do it. So I came back in for the casting call. They gave me another shot. And literally went from there to beating out 10,000 people and became the Blue Power Ranger on Power Rangers Time Force. And from that point on, I got the acting bug, like she said. I was also singing. Actually, after Power Rangers, I moved to Orlando and lived with Lou Pearlman. He started NSYNC, Backstreet Boys. So I was signed to Transcon Records for about 3 years. My stepfather passed away in '03, which brought me back to LA. And that's how I got on One Tree Hill. Now, when I was on One Tree Hill, then I really started taking Meisner classes and really got my acting technique down to a T, and that led to me getting Bring It On and the lead Scorpion King 2 for Universal Pictures. So after that, I just like completely loved acting. And then in '09, I started directing, writing, and producing, which now I've done about 7 films. So I've caught that bug too. So all around, I'm here to stay, guys. Whether you see me acting, writing, directing, producing, I just love the film industry. I have a home theater at home. I don't watch anything on TV, on ATV. I have to watch it on a projector screen, either at the movies or in my house on a projector screen, because I just love this industry so much. And I just love how art and telling stories can just really impact lives. Hence the reason why I got on YouTube, because now I can tell stories in a very cool, artistic, cinematic way and get to control my content. So.
What was the question again?
Acting.
No, okay, so yeah. Okay, so I got to start the role, before the role. Okay, so I started doing commercials and print jobs when I was in junior high school.
He showed me the best video last night.
I would do anything I could to be on TV. I did a lot of game shows, like teen game shows, like game shows, and commercials and everything like that. So at a certain point, well, I also did dance. I was dancing in music videos. I worked with Michael Jackson. I worked in Vegas. All before I was like 19 years old. And then I said I wanted to just do acting. And I booked a role playing Greg Louganis. I don't know if you know who he is. He's the most popular, famous American diver in history. So I played younger him in Canada, and then I flew back, and then I auditioned for the role, and I got it. So it's like my second biggest acting role was this. So it was like bam, bam, which is actually, you know what? I also did a small thing with the very first Yellow Ranger. It was with Audrey.
Oh, with Audrey.
Audrey, she auditioned. There was a pilot for Power Rangers, and Audrey was before Trini. It was a pilot episode, and her and I did a little educational thing on taxes together, and I have it, I didn't even know she was even a Power Ranger until like 2 years ago, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, Audrey? I'm like, she was in the show too? It was very strange, but yeah, it's a small world. It's a small world.
We're like the most dysfunctional functional family.
Yeah.
It's so big.
Sure.
It's like having a house full of 100 kids and there's like one turkey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all crazy. It seriously is. Like, we'll go to like some of the bigger, like the Ranger shows that are like all Ranger, and there'll be like 100 of us, and it's like we're all like, let's go have dinner, let's go have drinks, let's hang out. Like, we can't get enough of each other.
It's literally funny because then you're trying to pick like which small group you're gonna go eat dinner with. You're like,
it's like a hard decision.
It really is.
We're like, well, I told such and such that I would. Can we go tomorrow?
So funny.
Yeah, but it literally like
people get upset, like in all good ways. People are like, I thought you were coming to dinner with us. I'm like, oh, we went with space and Lost
Yeah,
Galaxy.
yeah. Well, this is what I think it was 2 years ago. We were at all PMC, and they gave me this huge suite. I don't know how. I was the person that got it. I don't know how. But anyways, I ended up telling everybody, come up to the room. And literally, I told like 5 Power Rangers to come up to the room. And I thought, oh, there'll be a few of us. And then Aaron Cahill started calling people. Next thing I know, literally, guys, there's like 60 Power Rangers in this suite. And like
Body
they
like
called
a
the
rock.
cops on us.
Body
'cause
like a rock
yeah,
star.
That was
we
my
were
first one
dancing.
too. I met everybody that night.
It was
that weekend.
and I was like, where are all these people coming from? And they were like, well, that's the new one. I go, well, they're dancing on the table. They can't, like, I was like the mom. Like, I was like, guys, you're not going to get me kicked out of this suite. Like, I got to sleep here. And they were just crazy. They were all crazy. The younger ones, especially. The new ones. But we had fun. So we'll probably do that this year again.
It's such a good time. If you haven't been to Power Morphicon, guys, it's literally, it's the Power Ranger party you want to go to.
Yeah.
So you have to go.
Or Ranger Stop. We got 2 Ranger
Oh
Stop
yeah,
shows.
oh yeah, no, we have Ranger Stop, PopCon, which
Yes.
the whole Time Force cast is going to be there. And,
Yes.
Karen actually started that show, which I give real big props to her because she rocks that in Atlanta. She puts the whole show together with Mikey and
Nakia.
and Nakia
Yes.
as well. So make sure you guys check that out. Tell them the website.
Yes, if you go to Ranger Stop Atlanta, that's the closest one to Richmond. But literally, we're going to have a Time Force reunion there. We've got Mighty Morphin coming. I'm going to let the cat out the bag. We just signed David Yo, so Billy is going to be there. Yeah, it's going to be amazing. So it's June 19th through the 21st. We got tickets on sale. If you come to my table, you might be able to win a ticket. But
We got you.
either way, it's going to be super fun. But we have Ranger Stop in Atlanta. We have Ranger Stop in Orlando in November. And then we have Power Morphicon, which is this September. So a lot of all Power Ranger shows. So if you want to come and meet like 20, 30 Rangers or 100 Rangers at a time, those are the shows to go to.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Are we ready to kick it to the audience? Y'all have some questions for them? First, right here, right in the front. Sarah, go ahead.
He met with us.
Oh, you met this one?
He's seen it.
I remember.
Oh, you remember this one? Was he a good guy or a bad guy? He was good. He can be good sometimes, but he can be kind of mean. So, but I think he'll be nice to you.
Maybe he's good in his heart. You just don't know. Who else? Who else has a question? Way in the back there. Nice and loud for us. What's your favorite scene you've ever acted out? Ooh. I'm sure there's a lot of them.
I gotta think. Me?
I was trying to buy myself time to think.
I know.
You know what? I will say this. One of my favorite scenes that we ever filmed was in the movie. It was the skydiving scene. Now, yeah, it was. We didn't get to skydive in real life because they didn't want us to get hurt, and they were like, we can't take a chance with them getting hurt. And I remember the guys were all like, so upset. But I was like, yes, thank you, God, thank you, God. I didn't want to skydive. Like I was like, I didn't sign up for that. But we got to, like, they literally pulled us up like 100 feet in the air, and we were like doing flips. We did all the green screen. So all those tricks you see us doing, that was actually us doing it, but we were on wires. And so that was a lot of fun. The only thing that happened was I had to shoot mine right after dinner. So I did like a few flips, and I smiled for the camera. Then I did a few more flips. I smiled for the camera, and then I threw up on the camera. There are pictures of that somewhere.
Mine's short.
They'll surface at some point.
Well,
It was still fun.
actually, when I was doing a lot of the voiceover for Psycho Red, I mean, I was doing them. I was having fun with them. But when I watched them back, I could see my favorite scenes, which is like a lot of the fans' favorite scenes. Like, I guess one of them was when Psycho Red popped into Lost Galaxy, and then he goes, "You don't know me? I'm Psycho Red." His head spins around. That's one of my favorite scenes. I try.
Voice totally like changed.
I know, it's like, and you sound like the movie guy. And now, little tortilla boy. Like what? So my favorite scene, I would say, would be probably, I want to say scene, but every time we did an explosion scene, it was just, that's the thing that pops in my brain, because they would put like a 50-gallon gasoline thing in like 100 yards from us, in front and behind us. And then they would put the camera like beyond that. So we'd be in between this explosion, and you would feel it too. So they'd be like, it's all this, you get one shot. So they're like, 3, 2, 1, and you're supposed to react and be like, slow motion. And you would feel it, and they would really explode. I mean, now they do a lot more CGI, but back then they used more, realistic, pyro. So that was like, wow, I'm on a movie set. Like, they're blowing up stuff. Like, it was crazy. Yeah, they're blowing me up. And I would say that, and the episode, it's not my favorite scene, but it's the most memorable in terms I almost like probably broke my legs, because the scene with Dash where they're driving the car to my legs, and he's coming from 100 feet away, and he's supposed to stop like right where my legs are. Like, they had me standing there, like no stunt double. And this stunt double's driving from like literally 100 yards away, and he's supposed to stop like right at my kneecap. So if you go watch that episode again, you'll watch me literally flinch at the last second, because he stops literally an inch away from my knees. And I remember when they called, I was like, I can't believe y'all made me stand here. So go watch that episode and watch me standing out there all tough, like yeah, I got this. But I'm terrified, right? And you'll see it, the wide shot where the car comes up, you'll see my butt go. So
We're lucky to be alive, guys.
It's so crazy. Like, yeah, go watch that. That's funny.
That's great. Yeah, right here.
Bring it on. What? Yes. What? A
Who
fight?
would win in a fight? Oh, no.
No comment.
What did he?
If you and Christopher came and Lee were in a fight, who would win?
Oh, who would win?
My money's
I need
on
my
you.
powers for him. He's a big guy. I know the camera has 10 pounds. I'm a little guy.
Depends on how much water Chris drinks.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Water.
How much
Chris
water
drinks.
Chris drinks that?
If Chris has had his water, he's got it. But if he hasn't, then it goes another way.
Other questions? Other questions? Right here in the front.
I have a question for Pretty Face Patrick, because I
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, thank you.
Pretty face, babe.
Going on 20. Going on 20.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so for my question, I always wondered, when I saw you guys in
Pretty.
which I've literally seen 25 times,
Yeah.
I always wondered, how could a pretty face like that become such an evil ranger, is my question.
Never trust a pretty face.
Yes, I guess so.
Never trust a pretty face, girl.
Honey,
I
it's
don't know how to
called
answer that
contrast.
question. I'm
It's called
flattered.
contrast.
Thank you.
Because
Is that what it is?
because they have to get a pretty face to play the bad psycho guy, so that way you know what I'm saying? You don't like fully hate him.
They always have the good-looking ones to play the good guys, too.
I guess our casting director had a bigger vision, and then she just kind of mixed it up, and maybe I guess it worked. But thank you very much. I'm flattered. Thank you.
Yes, he sure is pretty, though. I mean, I agree.
I'm turning red.
Oh, man.
That was a good one. Yes, right back here.
I know.
So we talked about like your favorite moments. So now let's get to the really great part. What would you say was like your least favorite moment working on the show?
The pay.
It's universal. We concur.
You hear that,
I
Saban?
concur.
Giving us money for our toys.
Oh, that's right.
Just kidding.
Oh,
Yeah, just hey, straight honest. You guys want to know the truth? Like,
uh-oh.
I'm speaking on my behalf. We were one of the 3 seasons that was SAG, so we got paid a little bit better than Mighty Morphin. But Mighty Morphin, yo, like sometimes they were actually getting paid than like less than some people that worked at coffee shops.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be straight up, guys. Like they were
terrible.
national heroes, and they weren't getting the recognition financially that they should have gotten.
Yeah.
But that's what I found out later, and I'll speak on their behalf because that way it sounds better. So, but yeah, they definitely should have got paid. For instance, I'll give you a little perspective. I got paid more in one episode of One Tree Hill than I did the entire season of Power Rangers. One episode.
Yeah, I mean, it was we were not like it was crazy. Luckily, when we came on, season 1 almost paved the way for us. Like they actually took us up to a better rate, and we were able to do the movie. And so 20th Century Fox paid us nicely for the movie, but it was, you know, it was criminal.
Whoa.
Hey, turn off the
Power Rangers After Dark.
yeah. Now
Already.
you ask all the
I said
questions.
turn them off.
So yeah, it was. I mean, it was criminal what they were. I mean, the first year the show, the franchise made $1 billion. So I always said, like, man, if they would have just been fair, Power Rangers, everybody on the show would have stayed for 10 years. They would have done the show until they couldn't have done the show.
We weren't allowed to do the show until it became
Yeah.
union for younger kids.
Yeah.
A union
Karen would
means
still be
you're
on the show.
protected.
I'd still be on
Karen be
that show.
like,
Maybe
Grandma
I'm
John.
Get
Grandma
my
Yellow.
residuals. But yeah, he's right. I did a commercial, and I did a national commercial 2 weeks after I left Power Rangers, and I made more in that commercial than I made 3 months on the show. Like, it was crazy. But we got all of you, and you're priceless.
That's what I'm saying. The Comic-Con thing for all of us has been so cool because it's been showing the gratitude from you all that and the appreciation from you all for our hard works, you know, in it. I mean, I was 18, so I didn't know any different at the time shooting the show. But now looking back, I'm like, dang.
And I've only done the Comic Cons my second year. I mean, I didn't even know you guys even knew my character until they called me and said,
Yeah.
"Do you?" I'm like, I was just a guest star. I mean, you don't know about Psycho? I'm like, no, you're in a
Yeah,
video
like,
game, and you're like,
I'm the same as him.
I
Like,
had no idea. So
the fact that you guys
you
still watch
telling
our
us all the
stuff.
stuff this is rewarding.
Yeah,
more than
it's
anything
really
else,
awesome,
more than
guys.
pay,
Yeah. Well, we always say, like, we left the show and it was not good when we left because obviously we weren't treated well. You know, there were times they would do crazy things. You always felt like you were going to lose your job at any moment. That's how it was, at least for Mighty Morphin. I don't know about you guys, but it was always that kind of way. Like, if you don't do good, we'll replace you. Like, it was, and we saw some people get replaced. So it was like, whoa. So we just wanted to do our best. Yeah. And so the beautiful thing is doing Comic-Cons, we've honestly fallen in love with the show again, but we've fallen in love with your version as fans and like what it meant to you. And so it's almost it's a huge blessing for all of us because it's truly full circle to go from a situation where, you know, you love doing your job, you love your cast, you're having so much fun, but you're not treated so well, to now it's like, you know, you guys treat us like gold and we just appreciate you. And so I always tell all of you, like, you give us more than what we give you. I know it's enjoyable and I know you love it, but just their stories and everything you share with us is so beautiful.
And
So
I'm trying to
thank
be
you.
a villain here. I'm always sitting there smiling. I'm like, oh, you guys are so nice. You guys, like, oh, wait, hold on, mean.
No, and I appreciate and the fans who are now adults who are introducing it to your children. I think that's so cool, guys. I see so many of you guys, like, I got my kid into it, and I think that's so cool. Because when I was on the show, actually, it was, I think in the 9th season, so I didn't think anyone was watching it. When the show ended, I actually didn't even put it on my resume. So when I got One Tree Hill, it literally said Reno 911 and That's So Raven, because I didn't even put Power Rangers on it because my agent was like, I don't want you to get stereotyped as being a Power Ranger because then they'll think you're not an actor and they'll think you're just a fighter, you know? So I listened to my agent. So I got on my work after it without the credit of Power Rangers, to be honest. Just my hard work of acting and going in the rooms. But seeing that so many fans know who we are, I rock that on my Instagram all day now. You know what I mean? Where, you know, I'm always like Power Rangers, and all my other stuff. Because you guys are the most engaged, to be honest. I'll be straight up. Like, a lot of my other fan base, they're not engaging with us as much as you guys do at Comic-Cons. So I think that's super cool.
Cool. Yeah, right here in the front.
Oh yeah. The Boys in Motion. Yeah. Boys, we are the boys in motion. We give you our devotion. Boys, we are the boys in motion. We give you our devotion. So we were like the NSYNC boy band of the show that they talked about for years, and then we finally got casted. Here's a cool side note. Columbus Short, who was Trey, he tested against me or against all of us on Power Rangers Time Force. So he almost became a Power Ranger. He didn't get it, and he went on the Stomp tour. And then we did That's So Raven, and then 4 years later, he became the main guy in Stomp the Yard from doing the Stomp tour. So and then I've had my career. So we're still best friends to this day. So it's a cool guy. Yeah.
It's a small world.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, right here.
So, question for y'all, for all y'all. My favorite part, I hate to say it, was the Zords. How all did that work? As far, was it like a green screen? Were you guys actually in it? Because for me, I always wish I could have a Zord and go kick somebody's butt. Yeah.
Is a Zord or
It's
what's a
Yeah,
Zord?
well,
I forgot what a
It
Zord
worked
is.
a few different ways for us because when we were on the TV show, like season 2, they were obviously using Japanese footage. So that was stuff that they'd shot. But by season 3, they'd run out of that footage. And so they actually reshot like the Zord sequence. Like we always did It's Morphin Time. That was green screen of us doing that. And if you notice, we always had like a hairstyle and then our hair would change 50 million times. We wouldn't have on the same outfit. It was always crazy. But in the movie, they actually shot all that stuff. So it was really cool to see them create that and stuff. But it was usually green screen, special effects. They would have some sets. Like when we sat in the Zord, it was actually like, it looked like a car. Like you're sitting in something like that. But a lot of it was Japanese footage.
Great question. Right here. Very cool hat.
So this question is for Karen. Michael, you can share your own thoughts as well. As the first African-American woman in Power Rangers, how does it feel 20 years later to have the first African-American Peak Ranger?
Why did it take so long? One thing I will say, I was always so proud of Power Rangers. I felt like Power Rangers was ahead of the curve because literally they got it. Like they got it. And it was weird because they were like, oh, Power Rangers is racist. It has Yellow Rangers. And I was like, how is it racist when they've literally given every kid someone that looks like them, that directly looks like them? Like, how important is that for
crazy.
us? Yeah, to like, I know for me, there was never a kid on TV that was a superhero. We would just, in our mind, become the superhero. So, I mean, obviously, it was, at the time, I didn't even realize that was happening. Like, me and Walter talk about that all the time. Like, people come up and tell us, and we're just like, wow, we didn't even realize
Yeah, it's crazy.
how big that was and what it would mean, but how amazing to be a part of that. Like, that blows my mind. But I was always so proud of Power Rangers because literally every kid in the world has gotten someone that looks like them. And they're a superhero. They're not the best friend. They're not they're the superhero. So kudos to Power Rangers for that.
Yeah, as an African American myself, I think it's been great. Now, Austin St. John, I think that's what brought me in. Like she said, I found someone that kind of looked like me on TV. And Austin was literally the first person, I loved. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like the Red Ranger, And then when the Green Ranger came around, I did like the Green Ranger just
You
because
jumped ship, didn't you?
I did jump ship. See, I told Austin that, dude. I said, not because, look, he's written to
he
be
had a
that way.
ponytail. That's what it was. It was the
lit-
ponytail.
he's got his, Green Ranger had his own Zord with his own,
He had
and
his own theme
he's got like
song.
his own apartment. No, I'm just kidding. He had like his own everything. But but Austin was literally what dragged me in first. Like I was like, man, I look like him, and that was kind of cool for me, So speaking from a Filipino American,
I'm all mixed up, and so I didn't even think about anything about if I was going to be cast as a certain. Well, actually, when I was auditioning, I was supposed to be one thing or another thing. My agent would say, say you're this, say you're that. I couldn't actually ever be myself, and so our casting director, her name is Iris Hampton.
Yeah,
she cast
I love her.
all of us. She's still casting to this day, and she has a vision of.
Another lady. But
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we did.
Well, get out of here then.
Katie
But anyway,
Wallen.
Iris-
Katie Wallen cast
Iris
her.
is the
She
sweetest
cast all
lady in the
these
world.
people. It didn't matter what they were. So I was happy I could just be myself, and I was paired, to destroy Christopher Kamen Lee, who does not look like me. So I'm glad she didn't say, okay, you have to look like him because you're his opposite. That didn't happen.
Yeah.
So
I'll say a quick thing too. The original breakdown, they were looking for a James Dean type figure. That's why his name is Lucas Kendall. It's Ken doll. They were looking for a Ken doll, like a
Oh,
blonde hair,
wow.
blue eye. And like a James Dean type of kind of bad boy kind of thing. And then when I came
changed
in,
their mind.
I changed them. There was the first role that where they casted me outside of my ethnicity. And then 1,482 auditions later, where I heard the word no, because I'm not the right race, 4.5 years later, it took me a while to get a role where I was playing Spanish again. Like him, I'm like him. I've been like Mexican, Samoan, Hawaii Five-0, I played Samoan. I mean, like I'm like him. We've played like every character. And now, really cool thing, just to let y'all know, because you might not know this, but they're actually casting for the first time.
Yeah.
Filipinos are in the breakdown in Hollywood, which is crazy for me. Like I've never seen a role for a Filipino. And like my friend Sonia, who was on this Hawaii show I was on called Beyond the Break, so she's up for a pilot right now. She's playing a Filipino. And I thought that's so cool. You're playing a Filipino.
Like, why does it take so long?
It's so cool.
You
It's
know
just
what's
so cool
crazy,
that
though?
it's finally like mixed amongst all races now. It's
I
really
guess
cool.
like for us, because we're all multicultural, it's crazy for us to think about it because like Hollywood will say, like, they're like, oh, we don't, the kids won't get it. But they got Power Rangers. Like they instantly, that would mean it's literally the biggest show in the world. And I never understood that until I went to like Jakarta, Indonesia. And they're like, go, go Power Rangers. I can't speak English, but they can sing the theme song.
Yeah.
So it's like, they can, like I always say, it's so weird to me that Hollywood can imagine dragons and ghosts and all of this stuff existing in a world, but they can't imagine someone of color being a part or being friends with
God
each
forbid,
other.
and God
Save
forbid
the
they give
world.
us like a different ethnicity parents. Like I remember I was up for a role one time and they were like didn't cast me because they couldn't find parents to play my ethnicity.
Like,
so
oh
why,
my-
I'm adopted. Like you know what I mean? Like
right.
why can't I just be adopted?
Why can't-
If
yeah.
you saw my mom right now, she's blonde hair, blue eyes. Like
Yeah.
I grew up with
my grandmother's
you
blonde
know,
hair, blue eyes. Like, yeah, it's like crazy.
I'm like, that could be adopted. So the first movie I produced is on Amazon called Worth the Price. I literally have my dad's blonde hair, blue eyes, and my mom's Filipino, so I'm half. So I did that specifically just to show it can be done in a movie.
Yep. Well, I will say this, for those of you who are aspiring Power Rangers, I did see this week, No Pink Spandex. They just released like the auditioning information that you can audition for the new season of Power Rangers. They're actually looking for, every ethnicity, every,
You don't need to know martial arts. You could be a dancer.
You can be a
or
dancer, a
something.
martial artist, or a gymnast.
And
But
you
go to nopinkspandex.com or go to Instagram. You can find No Pink Spandex.
Just send in a video. You don't have to go to
and
Hollywood.
you just have to send a video. And if you want to audition for Power Rangers, get in front of the mirror, practice your lines. They actually released the script so you can learn, But look at this season's Power Rangers. They've got every body type, every type of kid. Like, I am so proud of the fact that Power Rangers is like, no, we're going to continue to show everyone you too can be a hero. So if you're interested, submit your tape. Who knows? In 4 days, you might be a Power Ranger.
Yeah, you never know.
I don't think
literally.
it'll take 4 days, but
All right, we
No
have time
experience
for-
required.
no experience required. Yeah.
We have time for a couple more questions right here.
I know, yeah, we do.
Sorry, guys. You're like,
I'd like to know, with how popular Power Rangers, the researchers and the comics, they brought some characters back in one form or another. Where do you want the comics to maybe take their characters and showcase them?
Boom has been amazing because they've done it's more edgier. It's like for the fan today, it's not like, it's kind of showed that Power Rangers can be edgy without it having to be like rated G with extra cheese, It's got a little bit more to it, but I like what they've been doing. I love, I actually knew that Time Force was gonna get a new kind of spinoff, that they were the next group because we were talking to them, because last year they gave us an exclusive for Ranger Stop and Pop, and so they're giving us another Time Force exclusive with the mixture of like maybe Lord Draken or something. But they're gonna do a cover for just our show. And so we kind of had already heard, but I was so excited for them. Like
So
last
crazy.
year they really featured Psycho Red. They featured Aisha, Adam, and Rocky coming in as new Rangers and just dealing with like fitting in. Like I kind of liked how they did that. Like on the TV show, we just showed up and the other kids left and they did a good transition and they eased us into it, but they didn't really show how it would be different to go to a new school and how it would be different to fit in a new group and how it would be different to think about, oh my God, I have to save the world. And so I love that Boom has done that. Some of those storylines are so much deeper, and it's like kind of real. It's like the stuff that we actually deal with in real life. So I hope they continue to do that.
Yeah, I think
And-
it's gonna be cool when like it gets to the point where like I'm like Lou Ferrigno, and like there's like really good movies out there, and I'm like the old Time Force Ranger. I'm like
It'll be more than that.
I'm like William Shatner, and I'm like, hey, I used to.
For you guys who don't know, Boom Comics is the comic book line that works with that does all like Power Rangers stories for guys you don't even know. They're all comic books, but
Yeah.
yeah, like I was talking to you earlier, they brought the Psychos back. We left the show. I think we were killed for the second time. We come back to life again, and we were evil when we got killed before. Huh? We never died, so we're back again. But this time
They're
in
like
the comic
Never
book,
dies.
they're kind of hinting around, they're showing more of our personalities, and it's a cliffhanger, so we might come back as anti-heroes. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're gonna do, but they got great writers.
It's
We'll see what
really
they do.
cool though. If you haven't read them, they have Go-Go Power Rangers, they have Shattered Grid, they've just got a whole series, and so it's really, really cool. You
Yeah.
should read them. They actually have TV writers. That's why they read so well. I didn't know that. Yeah, they're TV writers.
Man, it's gonna be great.
Right here.
Every scene with Jason Font. Because Jason likes to do practical jokes and
Oh, he was
Well-
Jason Frank and Jason Font.
Yeah.
That's why they like each
he'll
other.
like, try to be in a tough scene and like he's like tickling my back where the camera can't see. Like if I was a sad moment, like, I don't know, Wes, and I just feel this like tickle like right here in my back, and I'd be like, I don't, and then they'd be like, guys, cut. Would you guys come on, get serious? And I'm trying, but oh my gosh.
They would
So-
do that too for us. Like we'd be like, you shoot your close up, so it's just you, and like Jason Frank would be in the back of the camera.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you would be like, dude, I'm supposed to be crying.
Yeah, I taught Jason Jason Font taught me how to kind of be that way because I'm like 18. I didn't know if I'm allowed to, and then I started after he did. I'm like, oh, it's on. Then that's why I'd be in the background going. I'd be doing weird stuff while they're trying to do their serious takes, But that's the cool thing about Power Rangers. We had our own parking spaces with the color. We had our own rooms, again, decorated however we wanted, and it was like a family, and we got to kind of joke around and have a good time. So that was the hardest scene, is that stuff, because the rest of the stuff is just literally fun, man. It's such a fun time. If you ever get a chance to be in a movie, especially something kid-based, it's always a good time, dude.
Yeah, it was never hard. I think the hardest thing was just being away from your family. And like I was 18,
Yeah.
I literally had graduated, and 2 months later I moved to LA. Like I went to this audition, and they told us, tell your parents to FedEx your clothes. Like we didn't even know that we were gonna
Dang.
stay, and so it was that fast. And so for me, I was so close to my family. Like
They
I would
had
go
FedEx?
to yeah. They had FedEx in the 90s. Come on now.
I don't remember using
Come
FedEx
on.
in even
They
2001.
FedExed our clothes. They
I don't even
shipped
think I
our
had a
cars.
laptop till I was
Yeah.
like 2003.
So that was hard. Like all of a sudden everything I dreamed for, like I was like, oh, I just can't wait to move in LA. And then I was there by myself. So that was hard. That first year was like being away from my family. And yeah, I know. I wish I'd have known you. Like we would have had so much fun. But I think that was the hardest part. And then we literally we shot the show for like about a month, and then they shipped us to Australia. So then we weren't just alone. We were
Shipped.
like on the other side
No,
of
they
the
literally
world.
shipped them.
Yeah, right. They
Like in
literally,
crates.
yeah, right. They would have done it, but 20th Century Fox put their foot down. But it was so weird. Like we had to go on separate planes. Like they wouldn't let us fly together. Like it was very weird. But that was the hardest part. Missing your family.
Cool. All right, guys, we got time for one more very quick question right down in front here.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi. I remember you.
So, they also have Power Rangers in Japan also. So, did y'all get to meet any of them?
Yeah,
You did?
we've got to meet them at like Morphicon.
Oh, yeah, we
At
did.
Lexicon, I've actually met some, and Ranger Stop, I've
Ranger
met
Stop.
some too. Yeah, they're really super cool and really nice. Like they're really supportive of and they were like, "Can I get a picture?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." Dude, you started this. Like they were so cool and yeah, really warm and welcoming people. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually had a blog YouTube thing quite a few years ago, and when I met them for the first time in Lexington, me and Austin actually interviewed them. So if you want to see, it's Uncensored Talk with Karan Ashley, but there's an interview with them. But they're so amazing. Like they're so funny, they're so great, and they don't speak any English, but we have full conversations. Like we're just like chatting it up, and
We'll
they're
be like,
just,
"Hey, how are you? Yeah, you want some coffee?" They understand that.
They were like really big fans, and we asked them. We were like, "Well, how did you hear about our show?" And they were like, "YouTube." And we're like, "Yeah." So they watched us too.
They're like, "Time Ranger." Yeah, that's cool.
So if we haven't met you guys, we're actually going to go back to our booths. We're right over there, right by the Rangers stop booth. There's tons of toys, collectibles if you guys want to buy something there. But
Toys
you can
of
also,
Us.
Yes.
Toys of
You can come and see us. We'd love to meet you. You don't have to, obviously there's stuff to buy if you want to buy an autograph or whatever, but you don't have to.
Just
you
come
can
talk
come
to
over
us.
and
You
say
don't have to.
hi.
Come chat.
We'd love to meet all of you face to face if we haven't already. Thank
You're
you
the reason
so
why
much.
we are here.
Yes, thank you
right,
so
guys.
much.
And also check out all the other Power Rangers stuff that Karan said is coming up, and I'm sure you guys can ask more about that at the booths and stuff as well. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So